Hello, everyone, and welcome to Expect the Unexpected podcast. This is Christopher Sanchez, and today Henry and I are really excited because we have the opportunity to talk about another amazing and breathtaking topic with you. Unfortunately, this is the last episode that we are going to have, but at least I hope you can enjoy this.
Yes, unfortunately, this is the last one, but Henry is here as always. And today we have a really interesting topic, but can you tell us what our topic for today is?
Yes, of course. Today we are going to talk about the iconic monsters. I'm sure that you that are listening to this podcast know a lot about monsters because of series, movies, books, cartoons, and everything. So yeah, we're going to talk about six monsters, and we are going to know that by knowing monsters, you can be involved in a certain culture. Because for me, monsters are part of the cultures around the world.
Yes, as you said, they are part of our culture. For example, here in Guatemala, we have La Ciguanaba, La Llorona, El Sombrerón, and stuff like that. And it's really interesting that every country has their own legends, creatures, and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, you by knowing monsters, you can know a lot about the culture or the country that you may be visiting, or even in your own country.
But yeah, so today we're going to examine six monsters that you can find around the world when you are traveling, when you're visiting someone, and and that. So can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the first monster that I had for today is the Patupire. Do you know who it is, Henry?
No, I don't know who it is, but at first sight, it seems to be, I don't know, like a kid, not a monster or a legend or a creature that we must be afraid of. Can you tell us more about this creature?
Yes, of course. Well, this monster, as you mentioned, looks like a human. It doesn't look dangerous, or actually, it's the opposite. Even if its aspect is like a cute child or creature, actually the opposite. You can find this terrible monster in New Zealand. Why I'm saying that it's a terrible monster? Well, this monster that is 20 point that is 2.5 meters actually is so dangerous, especially for women. Why? This monster utilizes its flute to attract young women or maybe kids sometimes to kidnap them and then kill them or destroy them in a really, really terrible way. And besides, this monster uses magic to destroy others. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. And it's part of your culture of New Zealand, as we mentioned at first.
Oh my God, I didn't know that he plays, well, it plays the flute to attract people. And I see that you have here clues and equipment. Can you tell me some clues that it may be near me?
Well, as I mentioned, this monster uses his flute to attract people. So if you are hearing music when you are in the forest or near a lake or a river, you have to run away as soon as possible because that means that the monster is around you and is using his music to attract you. So yeah, the music is the first clue that you can follow to avoid finding this monster in your way. The other one is initial patches of mist, especially if you're walking in the forest. And then if you are walking in a certain way or place that you don't know and you start listening to voices, you have to run away as well because maybe they are normal people, but maybe it could be a group of these monsters. So yeah, that's the clue that I would like to give you to know what if the monster is near you or not.
Oh my God, that's terrible. But can we take a look at the second creature?
Yeah.
Okay, now we have the Yeti. I'm sure you have heard about this. The first thing that came to my mind was in the movie Monsters Inc. That there a Yeti appears with some ice cream offering to the other monsters. But it is also known as the abdominal snowman. It is well, it supposedly is in East Nepal, and he basically lives in the mountains. And well, he eats sheep, yaks, and goats. Well, that's a positive thing that it doesn't kill humans. You are safe if you are going to travel to Nepal, and it is 2 to 2.5 meters tall. I think that's a big creature, and if you see someone or something that is tall, please run away because well, it is not going to eat you, but I don't know. It's better safe than sorry. Um, but what do you think about this creature?
Well, this monster looks really, really interesting. I have seen a lot of movies, not only Monster Inc., but also other movies, cartoons, and everything about the Yeti, because there are a lot of people who want to catch this monster or at least take a picture of this monster. So yeah, I think that it's really, really interesting. But sometimes I feel that this is not a monster. This is more like an animal that we haven't discovered yet. Or maybe it's another kind of the human species. Well, we have to know if there are more than one monster. But I think that by knowing the location in Nepal in a cold weather, in a cold place, it's going to be a little difficult to find this. But at least I want to know what clues I have to follow if I want to catch this monster or take a photo of this monster. So can you tell me?
Yes, of course. The first thing that you want to watch is tracks in the snow. It is walking many of the time, well, most of the times, and you can also see dead sheep because that's what it eats. And if you can smell something funny, you can follow that path and you may encounter this Yeti.
Oh, so yeah, I have to take note of this because yeah, I would like to be the first person in the world who has discovered this monster. But you know that this, there is a monster that looks like the Yeti, and I think that they are brothers or relatives. And I'm talking about the Bigfoot, who is really really famous in the U.S. Actually, there are a lot of people who have said that you can find this monster in the forest of most of the US states. Have you ever heard about this monster, or at least have you ever seen a movie or something like that?
Yes, of course. I think it's part also in what, well, I would say pop culture too. The Bigfoot is something someone or something that is very known. And as you said, it's very famous in the United States, but not only in the United States, but also in the whole world. Can you tell us more information about this creature?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it looks really, really similar to the Yeti. And actually, they have a similar diet because this monster eats leaves, roots, nuts, fish, and small animals, but not humans. But of course, this monster is really, really dangerous. And it's because of the clues. uh, when you are traveling and when you are walking in forest that you don't know, maybe you are not going to pay enough attention, but you have to be careful if you look at a large footprint because of course the name Bigfoot means that this monster has big feet so that he make large footprints. So you have to look at the ground. And then, as I mentioned, this monster is aggressive. So if you're walking on the forest and you look that the trees are damaged by something really, really big, or maybe it's the Bigfoot, because other animals such as foxes, lions, tigers, bears, um, that sort of thing are not able to damage the trees as the Bigfoot does. Sorry. And if you look at broken branches in your way, maybe it's the Bigfoot as well, because it's impossible that for a normal animal, they can break the branches or sticks.
Yeah, as you said, now that I'm seeing it, it has something similar with the Yeti, as you said. The positive thing is that it doesn't need humans, and you can, well, I would like to be one of the first person to see this animal or creature, I don't know, and to take a picture of it. I know there are many pictures of it, but no one knows if they are real or not. And it is so big that it is related with the next creature that I want to share with you.
Okay.
It is Bunchip. A bunchip is a creature. You know, when you first see this, you might see it like a rat or a fish, but it's nothing like that. It is 7 meters tall. I know it's like gigantic, and it is mostly, well, it lives mostly in the forest and places with water. It mostly eat fish and humans. So be careful. It is humans as well. And I think if you are going to travel to Sydney, Australia, that's the place it lives. You have to be careful if you see bones in the ground because, as I said, it can be fish, bone fishes, no, bone of fishes or humans. So be careful if you see that. And also, if you hear something very strange if you are in a swamp, be careful. It might be one of them because it is not just one. There are plenty of them. And basically, if you want to go there and have an air horn to scare this creature, if you may encounter it. But what do you know about this creature?
Well, to be honest, uh, I know nothing about this animal or, as you said, monster, because at first sight it looks like, as you mentioned, like a big rat. It makes sense because in Australia there are a lot of scary animals. But after you said 7 meters and that this monster likes eating humans, oh my God, definitely it's one of the most terrible monsters I ever heard in my life. But at the same time, I think that it's interesting how you only need an air horn to uh, uh, avoid this animal or scare this animal if this animal is near from you or this monster, because maybe it's the same case as the Yeti and the Bigfoot. Maybe they are just animals that we haven't discovered yet, or maybe animals that we have thought that they are extinct, but no, it's not the case. So yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, it makes sense when I heard the word Australia. But maybe I don't know. Maybe the I have heard that in Australia there are a lot of big and scary animals, but maybe it's just a stereotype. So I have to travel there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about uh, another monster that we can find here in Guatemala and in other parts of Latin America. And I'm talking about the Chupacabra. And I know that you, Henry, know who it is. Can you tell me more about this, or the information that you know?
Yes, I know that it is well, I would say small, but I know it's a small, I would say animal, but no, it's better to say a creature. But the first thing that I see is that it says Puerto Rico 1995. And I'd like to know more about that because I thought it was from Mexico.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I thought that the chupacabra were invented in Mexico because I thought that it was just a story invented in Mexico. But no, the first person who saw this monster was from Puerto Rico, and it was in 1995. Yeah, this monster looks interesting as we know and as we can guess because of its name. This monster eats goats, uh, chickens, cows, and animals that you can find on a farm. So that the chupacabra is a nightmare for most of the farmers because it killed all the animals of them, and of course they want to catch this animal and kill this animal or monster. So the thing is that it's really difficult to catch this animal. It's really fast, really intelligent. Yeah, it's really hard work. So yeah, you have to know that maybe it's going to be really difficult to be the first person or to be the hero of the farmers if you want to kill the monster. Or at least we could try. It could be a nice adventure, I think.
Yeah, it could be. You know, I'm really excited to talk about the next creature. Can you show us, please? Yes, we're talking about Nessie. I know you have heard a lot about this creature. It is mainly in Scotland, UK, and it is also known as Loch Ness Monster. You know, the first thing that I saw was that it is 6 to 9 meters tall. I know there's just one creature of this creature, so it mainly eat fish and zooplankton. Of course, it doesn't eat humans, or at least we don't know. And I know you have seen a lot of movies, or yeah, you have heard, of course, of this creature. And for me, it's not like a monster. It's yeah, I would say an animal that we haven't discovered yet. But what's your opinion about this creature?
Well, yes, I have read, I have seen, I have listened to a lot of information about this monster because it's really interesting and really beautiful. As I mentioned, maybe we're not talking about monsters, but about animals that we haven't discovered yet. And maybe the Nessie is a dinosaur that haven't became extinct yet. Um, Hopefully, we are not going to extinct it, maybe because maybe this is the last monster that we have in the earth about the same species, of course. So yeah, I think that it's really interesting, beautiful. But I remember that I watched a photo of this monster, and then the photographer said that the photo was fake. So I'm not sure, or I'm not 100% sure if this monster really exists. What do you think?
Me too. I'm a little skeptical because you know the Ness Lake is not that big. It's like 10 kilometers long. And yeah, some people may have found it, but maybe in the past was real, but now it became extinct. And we don't really know, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I would like to know more about it, but we don't know if real or not. But I think that if the monster is in that river, it needs to eat a lot of food every day. So maybe it's not real because it's impossible that the Nessie can eat a lot every day. Or you, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is the last creature we're going to see today. I have to say that there are many other creatures that we didn't mention, but if you want to look it up, yeah, you could. But what I'm trying to say is that there are many others, and I want to say that these creatures may be real or not, and they may be animals that we haven't discovered yet, and or they can be just legends and myths, and they may not be real.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they are not real. Maybe they are true. Maybe they are monsters. Maybe they are animals. Maybe they are demons. We don't know, but I think that we have the motivation to discover more information about them. As you mentioned, we didn't mention a lot and a lot of monsters. For example, la ciguanaba, el cadejo, and lots of monsters that you can find, Dracula, Frankenstein. But I think that it's important to read about this to know more about uh, other people's opinions. I think that it's funny. I mean, I have spent my time with my friends talking about monsters, and it's really, really, really interesting, believe me. But yeah, that's why we thought when we are planning this, when we were planning this podcast about talking about monsters. It's a really, really interesting topic.
Yes, I want to conclude saying that it was a pleasure having this podcast. Of course, this is the last one. I hope you really liked this podcast. There's no other time, but thank you for your attention.
So thank you and goodbye.